There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I am currently just waiting for everybody to join, but thanks to whoever is signing on first. Let's see who's here. We have Paul Reimer, we have Linda Kleinert, we have Gary. Oh, hey guys. Hey everybody. April, some guy named Jeff Kleinert, Michael M. Seriously though, yeah, no, thank you, Michael, for being here. Please enjoy this picture of my friend Steve, who fell asleep while on a Zoom call. Yeah, it was pretty sad. They all were trying to wake him up during the Zoom call. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So, yeah, that's right. I really posted it. You know, one of the hardest things doing a live broadcast is that it's right now just me looking at a camera. When really, I think it works a lot better when I am interviewing somebody. But anyway, as everybody is logging on, I'm going to take the picture of Steve falling asleep off the screen. Wait.
Well, he was playing poker.
Okay, well, I was trying to let him see.
Okay, all right.
He was on a Zoom call. It could have been a business call.
Oh, yeah. It was legal poker, though.
Totally legal. Totally. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in again. I can't believe how much fun it's been over the past couple of weeks doing Wine Wednesday with you guys. And this week, I am so excited that we are finally having somebody that doesn't have facial hair. It is time for us to finally interview somebody, that has, I think, done a lot more than we could possibly imagine in the wine industry as far as being able to hold most positions of, being able to source wine, sell wine, make wine, and now she's going to come and taste with us. But Vailia From of Desparada Winery is going to be joining us and tasting with us pretty darn soon. But before we do, I want to let you guys know that all of her wines are currently available, or at least the wines that we're tasting tonight are currently available on Bricks and Barrel. And not only that, but if you buy 3 or more bottles of hers, shipping's on me. So if you want, go check out Bricks and Barrel after this. The link to Desparada's wines are actually on my profile right now. So when you guys finish watching the broadcast, make sure to go check out the profile, click the link, and buy some of her wines. Besides that too, I'm excited that we restocked after last week. You guys bought so much wine that we unfortunately ran out of a few things. Specifically Wonderwall Chardonnay. We were out of it almost exactly, the time we ended the broadcast last week. So happy to say we now have plenty of Wonderwall Chardonnay again, and feel free to order up. No minimum or maximum orders, so have fun, guys. And then beyond that too, we have one wine that was not listed before called The Suitor that is on Desparada, or from Desparada, and that's on the website as well too. So take a look at that. We have a number of different things that are coming up as well as far as new wines. So if you haven't joined our email newsletter yet, make sure to do that. Guys, I'm just so excited to be able to talk to Vailia. I'm going to see if she's around instead of just talking to me this entire time. So stay tuned. Let me see if I can find her. And if not, you guys can definitely enjoy some wine in the meantime. Perfect. There you go. Just asked her to join. Let me ask you guys though, what are you drinking right now? Feel free to mention it in the comments. I'd love to be able to know what you guys are enjoying, and if there's anything that you guys have gotten from Bricks and Barrel that has just blown your socks off lately. Oh, I see that Sackcloth and Ashes. Michael, how is it? Ooh, yes. We just came from a cooking class with carbonara, and I gotta tell you that the Sauvignon Blanc was outstanding. I'm happy to say that I think Desparada just joined, aka Vailia. So Vailia, let me see if I can't have you join us. Vailia, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect. I gotta say, unfortunately, I think you might be sideways. Oh, perfect. There you go.
Better.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I can't tell you how nice it is to actually have someone else to talk to rather than just talking to my phone online video because nothing's more awkward.
Yeah,
Nothing.
it gets old. It gets
It
old.
really gets old. It's just me trying to make myself laugh and it doesn't work very well.
I hear you're pretty good at it, though. I've heard good
Hey,
things.
thanks. I don't know who you're talking to, but thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it. Hey, how's I don't know, life during Corona, COVID, or how's life been for you lately?
I guess everyone, hold on. I'm going to shut this door so I can hear. I'm in my empty, unfinished garage, and so it's a little echoey.
Nice.
Um, it's I guess everyone's experience is a little bit different, but
Yeah.
we're at the winery every day except for Sunday right now. It's
Okay.
typically our quiet season. We're typically traveling and seeing distributors right now.
Okay.
And instead, we're selling wine online and shipping as quick as we can, and just trying to, we're in a good spot. We just bottled about a month and a half ago, so the cellar's pretty quiet, but we're kind of in an unprecedented time where we're just trying to sell as much wine as we can.
And how's that going? Like, are people responding well to like, hey, this is a new method. You're not in the tasting room. You're gonna just be buying online or picking up. How's it been for you guys?
It's been good. It's so many times of so many days I'm touched almost to tears by how awesome people are and how supportive people are, and that's unfortunately it means people are drinking more than they ever have, which is good and bad. But I'm really amazingly touched with the support that we've been getting, and and everyone knows this is temporary. Like tasting rooms are going to reopen, and people are going to be able to come into wine bars and drink and restaurants. Like life is going to return to maybe not normal, but it's going to return to something. So I think people are just really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really cool.
I gotta tell you, even just random things that I see when I go on walks or whatever, people are just going out of their way to be nicer. Not even just to wineries, sure, but just to people in general. I gotta say that it's been really impressive just to see how, even just small things are popping out of the woodworks that I don't think would have happened unless, COVID actually happened. So it's been really interesting just on our side of things too.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I ask you? Okay, I want to go back to something. So, in a healthy way, definitely stalked you online before wanting to interview you, and you've had pretty much every job. I know. You've had almost every job though in the supply chain, the wine industry. Like, give me in your words, like, hey, what's your background? How did you end up making wine in gigantic clay pots in casseroles?
This isn't that long of an interview, Trevor.
No, I want to start drinking wine, so no, not that long.
Yeah, it's a pretty big question, but
Totally.
I started off in restaurants and
Yeah.
I caught the bug like a lot of people do. And from there, like a lot of people do, I was like, how the hell can I make a living doing this thing that I'm in love with?
Yeah.
So you find a way. You own a wine shop, you start a wine bar, you learn to make wine, you sell wine, like whatever the facet is. And so I went onto the sales side for many years. I started off in restaurants, and then I went to the sales, and then I went and got my WSET credentials and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't love selling wine, but I loved the wine industry. And I was living in Canada for a number of years, and they effectively kicked me out of the country because I don't blame them. And so I decided to come home.
Super Canadian of them. Yeah, kicking people out. That's so them.
The least Canadian thing they've ever done. I probably deserved it. But the one thing I had never done was production, and I always wanted to, and I always wanted to be creative and see if I had an artistic side. So I really bought an old trailer and had it towed onto a vineyard in Paso Robles. I had been to Paso Robles once in my life, but remembered it just being super unpretentious and down to earth. And I had nothing to lose. I had nothing. So I put the trailer on the vineyard, and I got a job as a cellar rat, and I spent a couple harvests doing that. And then I had a couple Canadian partners, and we started a small brand together that actually still exists. I don't make the wine for it anymore, but still gets exported up to Canada. And that was really cool because, we had no money really. So I was like, I'll do everything. I'll do it all. So I learned to use QuickBooks, wine accounting. I learned to do the compliance.
You have done everything.
I did all the compliance. I learned to make wine. So like I did everything, and that was super great as far as not only learning how to make wine and really learning on the job and with a ton of amazing teachers. but also learning how to run a business. Because no matter how sexy wine is, it's still a business.
Oh, totally. Totally. And I do have to say that, like, it is sexy and it's still romantic in the sense, like, when you hang out with other people in the wine industry, it does not, and tell me if you get a different feel, it doesn't feel as cutthroat as other industries. Like, you know, it definitely has this camaraderie that I don't think it's lost even, I don't know, as far and as big a business as it is now. It's a really cool industry. I think it is, like, the longer I've been in it.
You know, I don't know if that's because there's just not like, you know, the stakes aren't as big, you know, like we're not, that's one thing I think. And I think just the entire thing lends itself to people that are really passionate about this product, you know, and it's really hard to be a douchebag when you love something. Like there's plenty of them out there in all walks of life in all industries.
Yeah, no, people do it all the time. Yeah.
Right. But most people do this because they love it, you know, and that's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool. No, it is. And also there's not as many, I mean, there are millionaires that do make wine, but most of them started out as billionaires and then they became millionaires because they started making wine. So, you know, it's not as many of the jockeying for position things.
No, and you know, like people like my husband and I, we just started off poor and we just maintain that. That's a good, we just maintain it. But we love what we do, you know?
That's so cool.
It's amazing.
I want to be able to start sipping some of your wine because we have 3 that at least I have here. And I know that through that, we're going to start talking about you some more, as well as your, you know, your winery and maybe your husband. I don't know. But at the same time, what would you like to start with? I have Fragment or Fracture, sorry.
Okay, sorry. So you guys don't, sorry. I typically have been doing, I haven't done many of these, but I've been doing Zoom and I have an iPad. And the first time I play this with a phone, it's really small. So, pardon the drop. Okay. I'd say we start off with Fragment for sure. Sauv Blanc. Seems like a good place to start. Okay. Pour it up, guys. Does everyone at home have the same wines?
You know what they do? Some of them we're able to get it, and then others will just have to get major FOMO and hopefully order some.
Good idea. So this is the gateway drug for me. This is Fragment. It's 100% Sauvignon Blanc. It's every year it's 100% Sauvignon Blanc, but it's a blend of vineyards and vessels. And through the years, so the first year I made Sauvignon Blanc back in 2010. It was one vineyard, which I still work with, this exact same block, same vineyard. It's called McGinley Vineyard down in Happy Canyon. And then in 2012, I added Presqu'île out of Santa Maria. And then through the years, I've just added another vineyard whenever I can, whenever I find a cool spot and something different that's a different clone. And so then it's going to add something to my program. So this year I have 6 Sauv Blanc vineyards, but there's 5 in here. And it's a blend of vessels. It's actually everything except for amphora and concrete. So this is stainless steel, acacia, a little bit of French oak cigar, and then mostly neutral barrels. And I call it the gateway because I love Sauv Blanc. I bottle about 12 different Sauv Blancs every year. It's half my production. And even if you think you don't like white wine or you think you don't like Sauv Blanc, you've never had a good one. And the one thing And the one thing I dislike about Sauv Blanc is sometimes they're so steely and so like acidic that it hurts. And no one wants to drink wine that hurts. That's awful. Life's too short. So we do a couple different things in the cellar to make sure that this is very full bodied and it has a lot of texture and it has a lot of weight, but it also has, it's bone dry and it's super acidic, but it's pretty rich and it kind of offsets those things, but it's, it's just, it's a pop and drop.
It's a pop and drop. Okay, so your naming, I gotta ask you, you have so many cool names when it comes down to your wine. You come up with them? Where do they come from?
They're a mix. You know, this and Borderlands were the first 2 wines I bottled, that I made in 09 and 10 and bottled in 11. This name has stuck. The Borderlands has changed. They just kind of, you know, we sit around together and we drink and then we come up with something that clicks. And, you know, I was counting it, and since 2009, I've bottled 111 wines. Just kind of a lot. It's a lot for a small brand. For only doing
a lot of wines.
3 cases, that's a lot of wines. And so to come up with labels and names that are cool and edgy, and you know, it's a lot of work. So I have a couple. It is. Yeah, Jillian, who you talked to via email, and Cameron, who work with us, they are in charge of making sure that we look cool all the time.
Nice. It's good that you were able to delegate that. I've been trying to delegate that unsuccessfully so far.
Yeah, it's tough. I can make wine, and that's the extent of my artistic abilities.
I can basically log on to Instagram and press a button. That's my job.
Good. You're good.
That's pretty much all I do. This is, I'll say, can I ask you though? Okay, so I live in the Central Valley where it's now knocking on the door of 90 up to 100 degrees eventually. You know, what would you pair with this when I've chilled it? I'm having this, you know, in the afternoon or whatever. Like, is there anything that you recommend that people are, you know, eating while drinking this stuff?
I'm not a big pairer. Well, I think if you like the food and you like the wine, put them together and they taste good.
Done.
So aside from red meat, I would say maybe steak, stay away from, but everything else this goes really well with.
Yeah,
I
go for it.
think it's important, like, you know, not to get too particular, but, you know, I think a lot of times we drink whites too cold, and especially because all of these wines are unfiltered and unfined. If you get it too cold, like a beer cooler cold, it's going to throw a lot of tartrates.
Yeah.
You get really cloudy. So, you know, I like keeping it at a really nice, like, cold but not too cold temperature, and I think it goes well with everything, you know, especially as it gets hot.
That's awesome.
We've had some baking days the last 3 days too, so this is my beer of choice. Slamming it.
You know, we got a question earlier. Why Sauv Blanc? What is it about that makes it a gateway drug for you? Like, there's so many other varietals that you could go for, white wine or red or anything, but why Sauv Blanc?
A couple of reasons. It's the one I enjoy drinking the most. I like acid.
That's a good reason.
It's a great reason. It's the best reason, actually.
It is.
I like acid. I like acid in my food. I like acid in my wines. I hate flabby wines. But again, I want that acid to be matched. I want it to be balanced with the alcohol and the fruit and terroir and the earth and everything else in there. And I think Sauv Blanc really lends itself to being that. Like, it's an incredibly balanced wine. And it, you know, you can treat it so many ways. So it's really diverse. Like, it reacts really well to, it's very pliable. And I think if you, you know, you take care of it, it's hard to screw it up, but it's easy to make it just cheap and get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's, and that's how, and that's the other reason is I feel like it's been this discarded wine for so long. It hasn't really gotten a lot of nobility and respect. And I think it's, you know, and around here, not a lot of people are doing that. So that's another thing. If you're going to start a brand, like, what are you going to do that's different than everybody else? You know, there's gazillion wine brands out there. So you better do something that's unique. Otherwise, I don't know, why not buy somebody else's?
Yeah. You're just noise. Yeah, no one's going to pay attention to you. You know what's funny? The way you just described Sauv Blanc is the way that I have felt that some people are picking Merlot up again. Like, Merlot for a long time had a bad rap, probably because of a single movie, but still, as you know, explore this varietal that's kind of been forgotten, like, you realize how deep it can be. And I think, you know, you're doing a great job of showing that, hey, Sauv Blanc, if you haven't had it for a while, especially if you've only had really bad, you should try it again. Like, this is so different than what I remember Sauv Blanc being. It's so good, especially because you know, it's something that, like you said, it's not flabby. It's got so much depth. There's a lot of things going on in it. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but what are the, would you say there's certain, like, I've read your tasting notes on the site. So I know that you guys do tasting notes a little bit differently than like, you know, what others might do. But what are the things, like maybe one fruit, one non-fruit, or something that people should be tasting when they have this guy?
You know, it depends on this fragment in particular, or just in Sauv Blancs in general. But, like, you know, I look for citrus, whether it's lime, whether it's Meyer lemon, lemon chiffon. It's almost like a lemon curd. I get a lot of that off. You know, sometimes depending on the site and the clone, sometimes I get more stone fruit driven. Sometimes it's a lot more citrus and mineral driven. A lot of it depends on the vessel too, like what a big terracotta clay amphora brings versus concrete versus neutral barrels. They all kind of bring something different, but you know, you're looking for like the white flowers, you're looking for the stone, the mineral, you're looking for kind of, you know, either stone fruit or core fruit, you know, like baking herbs, kind of like cooking herbs, kind of too, savory. Yeah.
When you say white flower, I can't tell you that I actually eat flowers, but honestly, like, it did come to mind. Like, I mean, I don't eat flowers. But at the same time, like the scent as well as like the taste of it, like it's like it does have that kind of, I don't know, that combination that you would probably expect if you were to eat white flowers. I don't.
If you were to, if you read the tasting notes, then you kind of get that really what we do is we sit around and we just kind of spitball all the things that we think of when we're drinking it. So, you know, it doesn't really taste like an English accent. That's, of course, because who knows what that tastes like. But it does evoke those things in you. And so for sure, white flowers, and for sure, skydiving with unicorns, and for sure, you know.
For sure, skydiving. Yes, that was the other thing on the tip of my tongue, is skydiving with unicorns. That was the other thing. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Oh, I love it. I don't want to rush us on to the next one, but at the same time, we have two others that I'd love to be able to talk to you about. We have the Suitor and Sackcloth and Ashes. Which one would you want to go next? Because I have so many questions about both of them.
Okay. I would go probably, well, I don't know. Probably. Let's go sackcloth.
Both start with it.
16 maybe. Maybe we'll go by vintage. So do the 16 sackcloth first.
I love it. Yes, I have the 16 Sackcloth and the 17 Suitor. Do you know, do you remember I've only met you once in person. I don't know if you remember, we were at the JNL wine tasting event. Yeah. Yep. Do you remember our interaction at all? Because I still laugh about it when I think about it.
The one at Madonna Inn?
No, good. It was at Madonna Inn, and I was really excited, obviously nerding out, seeing you, seeing Andrew, a lot of other people. And I went up, I was like, it's so nice to meet you. I gotta tell you, my daughter found your matchbooks that you handed out in my bathroom, and she came up to me, she said, Dad, why do you have a matchbook with naked ladies in it? And I like blushed, and I'm trying to figure this out. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't know what to say with her, but she really liked it. And you're like, oh, really? I would have just told her the truth. I would have been like, boobs are awesome. That was your response. You're like, Trevor, this is what you probably should have said. And I was like, yeah, that's probably what I should have said.
You're like, thanks for the parenting tip, lady. Thank you.
Hey, you know what? It was good advice. It really was. So anyway.
Yeah, good. Glad I'm memorable at least.
Yeah, no, you are. Sackcloth and Ashes. So tell me about it. Like, why the varietals? I see Cabernet, Petit Verdot, a lot of stuff. Why these varietals? Why are they put together?
So Sackcloth and Ashes I want to do a Bordeaux style blend every year. So every year this is a cab based. It's a Bordeaux blend. Some years it has Merlot, some years it doesn't. This year I didn't do Merlot, but I added actually a smidge of Grenache just to like literally 2%. It was half a barrel. But it still kind of replaced that a little bit. But you know, every year this is a really fun blend because when I'm out in the vineyard, which starts in about like 2 weeks, you look at all the fruit and you know when you pick it where it's going to go. Like I've already determined that 80% of the time. But some stuff, a lot of the Bordeaux stuff, I don't know yet. So you bring it in, you make the wine, you cuddle it, you talk sweet to it, you talk about boobs, you baby it, you play nice music, whatever you do. And then you put it in a barrel and you age it. And then fast forward to in about 3 weeks from now when we start doing blending trials for bottling, you go through and you taste every barrel and we grade it and then we put blends together, blend trials, and then we do it again and we do it again and we do it again until we come up with it. But that's not for everyone. That's only for a couple of wines. So this is one of the only 2 wines that really is kind of a cellar blend. It really makes itself in the cellar. And to me, that's super fun because it's just really different. And everything else is predestined for a place. Yes. And this is not. And that to me is really fun. I love Bordeaux blends. I love Bordeaux in general, which is the majority of that and a little bit of Italian, but that's kind of the things that I stick with. It's what I like drinking. And so this is kind of an homage to, you know, some of the great Bordeaux.
That is so awesome, especially when it comes down to when I drink a red blend, you know, what I hope for is kind of what you described. Like when I drink a red blend, I hope that this is just kind of the winemaker's favorite. Like, hey, I was able to put together the blends that I was able to taste or the wines that I was able to taste. And this is what I wanted it to taste like when I put it together. And I feel like when I'm drinking this, I'm like, Sackcloth and Ashes was like,
the other day when I opened the bottle and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna try it because I'm gonna interview you. I want to be able to be educated. So I was doing research, and it just blew me away. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so, I feel like so bold, so good. It's a Bordeaux blend, and at the same time, like it was what I hope for when I have like a red blend. It's like this is a statement. This is super cool. But that being said, what kind of like you said vessels on the other one? What did you use to age your, I don't know, store ferment?
Yep.
What did you use for this guy?
Yeah. So all the reds, I don't have any tanks because I can't afford them. And screw it, I don't need them. So we typically do, we ferment most of our reds are done in bins. And then from there, we press and we age into barrel. So everything's aged in barrel. I use only French oak, anywhere from super, super neutral. Like I still have some 2010 barrels. As long as you take care of them, they last indefinitely, all the way up to brand new. So this had about 40% brand new French oak. And then a very small percentage, maybe like about 10 to 15 of one once used French oak. And then the rest is neutral.
Nice.
And, this is, even though this is one of my favorite, it's one of the most fun because it is a blend in the cellar. It's also the hardest blend that I make every year. It's, to me, the most stressful wine because of that. And because it has to be, like, this is my biggest production wine. It's one of the few wines that goes to distribution. It has to be really good every year. It has to have longevity and be able to age, which is why the tannins and the acid are so important. It also has to be something that you can open up and enjoy right now because most people are opening up and enjoying it right now. And so it's nice to be able to, as time goes on, as a business owner, be able to hold on to things a little bit longer and to be able to hold them for even just a year before releasing. Whereas, 10 years ago, I couldn't do that because it's drinking beautifully right now. Like, and we'll it's not even at its peak, but it's a hard one. It's a hard one to make because I go back to it more than any other wine to make sure that it's good.
Sounds like a lot of pressure too. Like making sure that it's good, that it lasts, that it ages well, that it does everything else. Like, sounds tough. Hey, if it's warm there, I want you to know I'm feeling the same way over there.
No, I mean the pressure.
Oh, the pressure. I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is because like it's as hot there as it is over here, but yeah, no, there is a lot of pressure for you as far as like being able to like balance all those things and that's kind of cool. And one reason why like I love talking to you about this is like people don't realize when they're drinking a bottle of wine, this is not something that, especially when it comes from someone like you, like they're like, this isn't a gigantic vat with a bunch of wine. Who really cares? Like, no, this takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of thought. It takes a lot of balance of a lot of different variables to be able to make this something that lasts, that ages well, that gets better, that you want to share with people, that it's a memory and experience. That sounds hard. Good job. That sounds super hard.
Exciting, but it's stressful,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be. Oh, man. Hey, I got a few questions from people. One, sackcloth and ashes. Why is it called sackcloth and ashes?
Great question. So, Dave Bidwell, hi, I know you. Anyway, sorry, just trying to not words, but I know
shout out all you want.
Hey, Dave. This name in particular is a biblical reference, obviously, and while I am not very Bible-based or religious necessarily, I think what it evokes is incredibly beautiful. When someone passes away, you don the sackcloth and humility, and you throw the ashes as kind of like this very bittersweet kind of saying goodbye and moving on of something. And wine is like that a bit. Like, starting, we just had bud break here in the last few weeks. Like, so starting now, we're in vineyards over the next few months. And you go out at least once a week and you talk to the babies and you talk to the vineyard managers and you make sure they're doing everything you want. Like your own vineyard, like you baby these grapes on the vine. And then you decide to pick them. And then you transport them to your winery. And then you bring them indoors and you put on some nice music. And then you start to process them and you take care of them. And then you nurse them through fermentation. And you take their temperature every day. And you tuck them in just like you would like a little mom with little babies. And do all the things. It's a lot of fucking work. And then after that, you press the grapes. And then you put it into a vessel, whatever that is, mostly barrels. Yeah. And then we age it. And then we top every 2 weeks. We make sure that the wine is safe and the wine is sound and it's protected. and then you blend it or decide what you're going to do with it, and then you bottle it. So you put it in a bottling truck, you put it in a bottle, you put a cork in it, you put a label in, and that's a lot of stuff. And then and that could be the same for 6 months or 3 years. That's kind of our lifespan at Desparada.
Depending if it's like a white wine or like a Bordeaux blend, like it sounds like those are,
Right. Like our quickest white wine from harvest to bottle is 6 months, and our longest is about 3 years. And then after you've done that, you pass it out into the world to all of your lovely customers and people like you, and you go, hope you like it. So it's very vulnerable, and it's very like bittersweet. Yeah. This saying goodbye, like I took care of this thing for 2 years.
Yeah.
No, 2.5 years. And then I'm like, here you go.
Yeah, I hope you like it.
You know? So
oh my gosh.
So that's kind of like the sackcloth and ashes reference is like this very kind of bittersweet and beautiful saying goodbye, but like passing on and sharing.
Oh God, that's cool. I mean, also like that is such a good illustration for people to understand when they're drinking. This is what it takes for you to enjoy like really good wine. This is different than a lot of other things that are being produced. Like, okay, I love cocktails and I love, beer, but at the same time, the production like style for that is totally different than for wine. Wine, you have a harvest. You have a harvest. You have a really weird blend of science and art and love and parenting, and then you got hopefully a great product at the end that people will enjoy and buy and help support you to make more in the future. But it's like it's hard. It sounds like a super hard balance.
Yeah, and you get one shot at it. Like that's a great point, Trevor. Shot to harvest it, you get one shot to bottle it. Like you didn't miss the capsular. We'll come back to that. Don't you worry, Dave. You get one shot, and that lends itself to a lot of stress. It lends the capacity for greatness. It's great. It's a great thing. Yeah, it's just a lot. Yeah, it's a lot,
and actually, with the stress comes like probably super excitement. Like, hey, whoa, it worked. This is awesome, and then also possibly
when it doesn't work.
Probably never happened to you, but maybe disappointment. But no.
Sometimes when it doesn't work, and you're just like.
let's just forget about that. Whatever that was, let's just forget about it. Don't even worry about it. There were a few questions. Okay, actually, one, love the biblical reference because I'm pretty sure my pastor is watching right now. So rock on. Thank you very much. Then the other part was, what music are you listening to when you're putting together wines, hanging out in the cellar? What are you listening to?
We listen to everything. We listen to everything from classical. I'm a big Tchaikovsky and Mozart fan. We listen to some funk. We love reggae.
I just looked at my wife, who was a music major. She was impressed by that. Keep going.
Nice, good. I got your pastor and your wife. So far, I'm doing good. I know. Literally everything. I love Nina Simone. We listen to rock. We listen to jazz.
Nina Simone, Mr. Sinnerman from Nina Simone. I gotta say, Sinnerman, Nina Simone. Boom. I love that. Love it.
This is great. We love Stevie Nicks, but we love everything. We take turns. We have just like a big Sonos speaker in the cellar, and we just take turns. Yeah. So
nice. Oh, that seems healthy. That seems like you have your blend of wines, your blend of music. That seems healthy. Seems like a good mix.
Yeah, it works because you know what? Wine is a living, breathing thing. Like it feels it, it hears it, like an animal does or a plant does. Like it's alive. Like it wants happy music too, and it also wants happy vibes. And that's the other thing that's really important is keeping a happy environment where like we love going to work, we take care of our employees, we have a great time, and it shows in the product, and that is incredibly important.
I really believe you. I do, and also I got to ask you, when it comes down to this is going to be a bigger subject probably, but I just got to ask you. So would you say that biodynamic, the cycles of the moon might be something, or do you think like that might be taking it too far? Because
no, that's 100% a real thing.
Okay. Yes. I'm trying to ease into it because I don't know. It's like talking about politics. You don't want to like offend somebody, but like I want to know your opinion on this thing. Like because like biodynamic, for those that don't follow along, they follow they can follow very strict rules to be able to produce and follow specific calendar days for harvesting, for doing all different sorts of, I guess, wine-related activities. And you know, I'm just curious because like as you're discussing this, I'm like, yes, wine is a living thing, and there's some that definitely, you know, follow a calendar.
Yeah, and wine's a living thing, and it also came from grapes, which lived onto a plant, which came from our soil. Like all of it is so interconnected.
Yeah.
So to not think about those things is to really miss the boat.
Yeah.
It's really, really important. I don't make, I don't follow biodynamic rules in the winery.
Yeah.
We do use sulfur minimally. We want to keep our wine protected. Like there are different things that we do. I try to pick by a biodynamic calendar, but because it does make a difference. But that entire philosophy, I think, is really important. But we're in a unique situation. Oh, it's not unique. That's bullshit. There's a lot of people like us. We can't afford our own vineyards, so we have one small vineyard, and then we buy the rest of our fruit. So we're not estate grown. We have one tiny vineyard, and it's awesome, and I love it. But I also like having a big palette to play with. So I love buying all fruit from all these different vineyards all over the Central Coast. It's awesome. And some of them are biodynamic. Most of them aren't. I'd say probably 20% are. They're almost all organic or at least sustainable. And even if they're not certified, they're growing organically. I at least want them to be ethical farmers. And it's important.
It is, especially when it sounds like, your approach with at least how you guys, like treat each other. I mean, whether it's playing the different music, everybody gets to choose what they want to listen to, as well as like everybody having fun. Like it seems like if you then stopped and then didn't care how the grapes were made, it would have been like, well, wait a second. No. That's not who you are. Like, but if you take it all the way through the supply chain, like you could taste it. Like it makes a difference when it comes down to the wine that like eventually comes out of the winery. It really does. Can I ask you something else too? And then I want to get to the last one, the suitor. How has it been for you? Basically, like I would say, the wine industry has gotten more, more women in the wine industry, but at the same time, like it's still a male-dominated industry. How's it been, being a woman in the, wine industry? Has it been tougher than you thought? Has it been fun? Do you care? Should this even be a question?
I don't really care. So, here's the thing. I've only ever been a woman in the wine industry, so I'm not
Good point.
like not as a woman in the wine industry.
True.
So, and I mean this is like I have the utmost respect. Well, I love being a woman, and I feel for all the women that don't have.
I gotta say, you can tell that through whether it's your labels, whether it's the fact that I think it's Gustav Klimt. Is that the artist of the different line drawings?
Yeah, so he's one of them. This is about 2 or 3 artists that we take their pen and pencil drawings from, but he's definitely a big one. Yeah, and those are all.
But you used him to cover naked women with pictures of naked women.
Yes.
So I mean, like there is like a feminine.
Oh, totally. Like, absolutely. Like the labels, and I think the wines too. Like I want to highlight the feminine part, but also they're also very masculine, and I think that's us as people. Like we are yin and yang. We are masculine and feminine, and I think it's really important my experience as a woman in the industry is very different. And when I say I don't want to negate what someone else is going through, I know that there's some women that are dealing with some real shit. So what I'm going to say though, not to lighten it up, is I just don't give a fuck. So if you're not going to sell me grapes because or however you're going to treat me, I just don't buy into it. I just move on. I just never subscribed. And luckily I've been in a place where I didn't have to. Like I'm not climbing a corporate ladder somewhere. I've never been passed over for a promotion. So again, this is a different thing. But do I notice, like, do I see people treating women maybe differently than men? Sure, sometimes, but fuck off. I think that's just kind of my attitude. I also see more and more and more and more women in this industry, especially in the cellars, and that's awesome. So I don't know. I am incredibly pro. I am behind women all the way, but also I'm not gonna participate.
You know what I heard? I heard the way that you described this too. I think it sounds like it's just natural for you. Like when you describe this, it doesn't sound like I'm going to be for women because I need to be for women. You're like, no, I just love them and they're awesome. And when it comes down to it, like, you know, that sounds like it's just who you are. It's not something where you have, you know, I think an over focus or anything like that, but that's awesome. I just thought I'd ask because, in all honesty, like,
No, it's a great question.
yeah, you know, I'm a dad of 2 girls and I'm married to a woman, so I love women. But at the same time, like, you know, so for me, like, to be able to see like how you've represented, I think, such a cool femininity as well as like a masculine side of it, like, has been awesome. Plus your wines just rock. So I'm like, I got to ask her, like, what's
And
your
I think it's a great question. It's a very relevant question. And I get asked that all the time. And it's, you know, and again, I don't want to dismiss it. I just, you know, is she a great winemaker because she's a woman? Is differently than a man, or is she just a great winemaker? Who knows? Is she a great tennis player because she was the best female tennis player of all time, or was she just a really fucking good tennis player?
I know. I think there was a Steve Carell movie about that very question. Yeah, I feel like, you know, the fact of it though, I do have to tell you, when I first tried your wine, it was a tasting when I first started Bricks and Barrel, and I had no idea who made any of it, and I chose your wine first solely because I like the wine, and it was kind of fun too because then I learned your story and it was really cool. But at the same time, like, yeah, it was fun. Like, yes, you and your personality, awesome, but at the same time, yeah, you also happen to make really good wine, so there's that too. Just saying,
And when you have daughters too, like, you think about those things. Like, you think about like the things that you want to pass on to your child. You think about like choosing things that express beauty to you. Like, I don't know. Yeah. There's a lot of things.
There is. And like, you know what's funny too is like, I would have never thought about this until I was a dad. Now I'm a dad. I'm like, oh, I'm no longer thinking about like other women. I'm thinking about Hazel and Hannah and like, okay, what are you going to experience as you grow up? What if you want to do this? Like, what are you going to experience? And so anyway, that's where these like questions, you know, as a guy asking it, I'm like, I get that. That's a little weird, but at the same time, like, also not really, because like, no, this is quite genuine. I'm really curious because I now care about, you know, what happens to Hannah and Hazel. So
I love it. It's good.
It's good. Good. Thanks for answering. I feel like a question you have probably been asked so many times. So thank you. I appreciate it.
No, but you know, I think it's better to ask than to not though too. You know, like just like sticking your head, not thinking about a thing isn't great either. So yeah. Hi Molly.
That's true. Hey Molly.
Hey Molly. Hi Jim. Guys.
Should we go to Suitor though? I feel like I'm now really excited after talking so much about your wines and your background. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So this is a 2017. This was bottled last August and released in the fall and September. Suitor is, the blend changes every year. And I think we talked about this via email because I don't know that you've ever had it in your shop.
No, not the 17.
This is always a fun, I love Petit Verdot. I love, well, I like a lot of varietals, but it's really nice to highlight something that often doesn't get the limelight. It's always a blender, but it's so beautiful either on its own or as kind of the lead character. It's dark, it's brooding, it's like a dark alleyway. It's got cool stuff behind every corner, but it's, you know, it's kind of scary to go. It's just awesome. It's fun. The name Suitor, because I know you're going to ask now about these names.
I will, yes.
The name Suitor is, it's like a suitor coming to call, someone like coming and asking for a date, and you maybe go out with them, and then you decide that you probably don't want to see them again. It was nice, not thrilling, but nice, and that's fine. Or maybe it was really great, but you just had a better offer on the back end. Like, whatever the case is, the Suitor blend changes every year. So the name is, I did one Pinot one time, which was gorgeous. I love that wine, but I only one time. That was a Suitor. This Petit Verdot based. We've done a lot of different things through the years. The first Tempranillo I did was Suitor, and then we've done it a few times since, but moved it in a different direction. So it's kind of like a first introduction to something.
I love it, especially because I nerded out briefly about art. There was an English book I had to read, The Glass Menagerie. Did you ever read that book, The Glass Menagerie?
In high school,
It was a classic, like, I would never read this unless they made me read this in English. But every single time my brother wants to do a bad like accent of some sort, he always does you know, something about like, I'm here for a gentleman's suitor for my glass menagerie at some point. And so every single time I drink this, I do remember my English class at University High School. Fondly, but still. The suitor makes a lot of sense now you described it. I'm like, okay, he comes, he goes, we're going to change it, he goes. This makes way more sense than the random English reference from 10th grade. So thank you.
My pleasure. It's great. This tastes really, sorry, don't spit that out. This tastes really good right now. It tastes great.
It does taste really good. It does. You know, I had a question that came through. When you source grapes, do you stick to certain regions or AVAs, or do you guys look throughout California, or how do you guys go about selecting the vineyards you guys work with?
Central Coast only.
Okay.
So the wineries in Paso, which is a great epicenter for the Central Coast, both from a location standpoint and also from a tourism standpoint. So we get a ton of amazing people that come and taste. So it's a great place to have a winery, but I'd say probably 25 to 30% of my grapes come from there. The rest are sourced from other parts of the Central Coast where, you know, like Sauv Blanc, it's too hot in Paso for Sauv Blanc.
Yeah.
So, and for, you know, arguably for a lot of varietals, especially when they need a lot of hang time, it does really, really great for Rhones. It does great for Cabs too. You just have to be careful about where you are, but I really love the southern part of San Ynez and San Ynez Valley and Happy Canyon area.
Yeah.
Edna Valley and Santa Maria for whites. So I like being able to, I source stuff from all over the Central Coast. And, you know, we've got a handful of vineyards that we work with every year. And then, you know, next year we add on a few, and maybe you keep one or two of those and you get rid of them, the others, and, you know, the other new ones. And, you know, so you slowly build up kind of your stalwart kind of group. And, you know, because you don't own the vineyard, shit happens. Sometimes the vineyard sells.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have a really rough vintage, like in, you know, 15, where we lost huge percentages of fruit due to weather. So, you know, it's nice having all of these options because all my eggs are not in one basket.
That's true. Which is one of the benefits of what you described as like, hey, we're not in a state winery. I'm like, well, there's kind of a benefit of not being in a state winery. You're able to be more diversified. If your supply needs to come from somewhere else, you can do that.
Right. But it's not all wine and roses. Can't believe I just said that quote.
Nope, no, that works. Keep going. Yeah.
But you know, you also lose a lot of control that way too. You know, by not owning the vineyard, you can ask a vineyard manager to do something, and you can go out there every week and check to see. But at the end of the day, it's not your vineyard. So there is, you know, it's both sides of those things.
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. You know, we've talked so much about, I feel like some of the sourcing. Tell me what we should be tasting when we're tasting this, because we actually just got the 2017 Suitor today on the site. So unfortunately, I don't think many people are able to taste it at home. So we have to like basically verbally tell them what they're missing out on so that they then can eventually buy it and whatever. But what should we be tasting?
Right. The first two wines were really, really good, but this is singing right now. This is beautiful. And that's not a sales pitch for you, Trevor, but it's the real deal.
It could be. That's fine. No, go ahead.
Hi, River Gramsey. I see you, Deb. The thing about this, like I said, this Petit Verdot, it's very dark. It's very like inky. It's very dark fruit.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of, you know, kind of like that, like dark Courage red berry thing that comes right out in the nose, but it's also super velvety and super weighty on the palate. A lot of beautiful natural acidity there, and I don't know. It tastes good. It tastes good in your mouth.
It tastes good. Actually, that's all you need to say. Like honestly, the wines tonight have been outstanding. But as far as like Suitor, this was better than I. No offense to past suitors that have come and visited me, but at the same time, like this is definitely my favorite of the Suitor I had before. This is better than I remember. This is outstanding. This is really, really good. It's just fun, especially compared to the other ones too. They're all just a little bit different. Like between the Suitor and the Sackcloth and Ashes, what would you say is the biggest difference between the two? Obviously the varietals, but I don't know,
Right.
when it comes down to the type of tasting notes, like, would you say like one is more plum, one's more one way or the other? I don't know. How would you describe
Yeah,
it?
you know, the sackcloth has more of that kind of like restrained, kind of like cab base, a little bit more tan. It's a little bit more. Imagine you have twins. You like them both equally. You love them actually because they're your twins. But
That's right. And my mom is watching, and I am a twin, so she can verify both of these things.
okay, so mom, pardon the slut reference here.
Go ahead.
Sackcloth is kind of like she's kind of like the dowdy older sister, the older one of the two with the glasses, more librarian style, a little bit more serious, a little bit more restrained, a little bit more structure, a little bit more darkness, has a little bit more longevity, probably in my opinion. Whereas Suitor is a little bit more of like kind of the sluttier, saucier of the two, kind of more the showgirl. Like she's just, it's more up fruit. It's a little bit more like kind of in your mouth, a little bit fleshier.
Yeah. No, totally my brother and me, by the way. I mean, you just nailed it.
Great. Yeah.
I'll let you put those two together. Which one's which? When you meet them, you'll know. When you meet them, you'll know. I gotta say, unfortunately, we only have a few more minutes before Instagram kicks us off. But in the last couple minutes, I wanted to ask you two more questions. One, what are some things that like we should be excited about with Desparada, or things that you're working on that we should be checking out or following or, participating in? What should we be paying attention to?
Like I said, I've bottled 111 wines since I started. So I'm really big. We do about 14 to 17 wines every year. Like we bottle twice a year. There's always exciting things coming. So I would say join the mailing list if you want, and then you'll see what new stuff is coming out. You could join a wine club if you want. We do 2 releases a year. We have a kick-ass brunch party every spring. You get 20% off the wines. So those are 2 options just to kind of see what's new and what's coming and what's relevant. But really just keep drinking good wine and, and there is something kind of new and exciting coming out June 12th, and it's called Dressmaker. And it is a Solera style Cabernet Sauvignon that, if anyone knows, I'm sure they do, if you know kind of like how sherry is made, where it's like a Solera style, where fractional parts are added every year into kind of an existing base. So in 2012, I wanted to do that with Cabernet. And my then boyfriend, now husband, was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I said, no, it's not. It doesn't make a lot of economical sense, but I'm going to do it anyways. So I started buying, every year I bought a new 600-liter pungeon. So I have these 600-liter pungeons that have now, I started it in 13. So I have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. It's almost like a cassoulet. So every year after secondary fermentation is done, I rack the whole thing into a small tank. I add in the new vintage and mix it. So I homogenize it and I put it back to barrel. And I've done that every year by adding in a barrel's worth of the new vintage, so that for the first time we bottled out a barrel's worth in February, and it's going to bottle until June 12th, and it's it's mailing list only. It's online. It's at dressmaker.com or dressmakerwine.com or whatever.
There you go.
It's talk about a passion project. It's a thing that makes sense. There will only be 8 releases because it's the cycles of the moon. There you go. It's a really cool thing. It's amazing because when you drink it, you can taste the old, and then you can also taste like the young, fresh, vibrant, new, fresh cab. But then you taste this kind of mature, and it's a trip. It's a trip to drink. So
that's so cool. And I think people are actually searching this right now. So dressmakerwine.com.
I should know. I don't. It's dressmaker.com. I think it's dressmakerwine.com.
Yeah. I gotta say, you know what? As much as I would love to carry this, I think you should just go directly to the source for this one, guys. This one is a passion project. So, Steve, I see your questions, man. Go directly to the winemaker for this one.
I would love for you, Trevor. Don't you worry.
Oh, thanks. The last question, though, I wanted to ask you. I've been trying to ask people every single time they come on. Hey, with everything going on, what do you think we could do to be able to help others out, in your opinion? So, Andrew, last week, he was on and he talked to us about how, hey, order out. try and help out local restaurants, order some food. They need your help. But what, in your opinion, what can we do to be able to help people out during this time? Because there's got to be something, and just from what you've seen, what should we be doing?
Again, I can only speak from local, but help out your food bank. Food banks are pretty screwed right now. Help out the people that like don't have, like the homeless it's really tough right now. Like imagine what we have and imagine not having that and then having to go through this. So what we've been trying to do is we've been hitting up Rise is a local, pretty awesome shelter, women's shelter, family shelter, and also our San Luis shelter, and just seeing what we can help them with, what we can contribute. And also our local food bank is putting calls out because a lot of their stuff comes from grocery stores, and the grocery stores they're pretty busy right now, so they're not getting as much as they normally do. So just, I think helping out the people that don't have, like as a business owner, I appreciate people supporting me, but if we take that down to the next step to the people that can't do anything. So that would be that's what we're doing as much as we can.
That's a great idea. That is such a great idea, especially when you point out the whole, the hoarding, I guess is what you can call it. People are taking so much from the grocery store right now. The excess that normally exists to be able to fill that need doesn't exist anymore.
Right,
So,
and they're limited on what they can even buy. Like some stores are only allowed to bring in so many SKUs of a thing, and like it's this, supply chain thing that I don't really know anything about, but I can see the effects of it, because it's not my business and I don't know, but like we see kind of what's happening. So I think anything we can do to help them, and like, just there are people that are homeless, there are people that are stuck at home with domestic violence. Like there's some, we're lucky to be able to enjoy this beautiful wine, and so anything we can do outside of our home to help the people that don't have those things, or it's pretty cool stuff.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I think that is such a good answer too, and something that I'm going to be thinking about it. My wife is right now next to me, so we're going to be talking about this, and maybe we can post some stuff with some ideas, or maybe some resources people can reach out to wherever they're living to be able to help out the local food banks. But that's such a great point that unfortunately does not get the same press, I think, as what's happening to businesses right now. I think businesses, rightfully so, are suffering so much, but also those that were in need before are even more in need now. So that's a great point. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. I haven't been able to look at everything, and I don't know a lot of these people, but like, thank you everyone for just logging on. And I don't know, this has been a really cool format. I've never done this, and it's beautiful.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I love it. I gotta say, one of the things I love about it is the fact that it is so interactive. Even though you and I have been talking so much, like they've been able to comment and interact with each other. So thanks so much for being willing to jump on and try a new format. And I can't wait for more people to try your wine, and also I can't wait for the world to open so I can come out and see you guys in person.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, hopefully in the next few weeks, but all of you are welcome to come and enjoy. Come see us at the tasting rooms when we can, and take a road trip and just do all the things.
Do all the things. Go see the coast, leave your house, I think is just everybody's main goal.
All the things.
All the things.
All the
exactly.
Things.
Well, thank you so much. And everybody, make sure to check out the mailing list that basically we were just talking about. And Vailia, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's so great to hang out with you, Trevor. Thank you. We'll look forward to
I'll talk to you later.
And bring your matchbook and your kids.
Oh, I will. I'll make sure to bring the matchbook. I still have it for some reason.
I have more for you. Use that.
You got my order. Thank God.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Guys, thank you again for checking out this week's Wine Wednesday. That was Vailia From of Desparada Wines. Guys, tonight and through the next couple of days, we have her wines with free shipping if you visit the link in our profile right now. Check it out, especially when it comes down to the Suitor. The one that, as she described, was singing right now, is available. So 3 bottles or more of any of the wines that she has, you get free shipping. I'd love to be able to send them to you guys. There are limited quantities, though. I didn't get too much of it. I could get more if you guys are really wanting it. At the same time, act quick so you actually get a bottle. Thank you. guys, for all the comments and questions. And also, if you have any specific questions for her or for me, hit me up in the DM. I'll make sure she gets them. We even got a few requests from Massachusetts that we were able to get wine to them earlier this week too. So really, any questions you guys have, hit us up in our DMs. I think slip into my, I don't know how you get into my DMs. I have no idea. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. Next week, check it out. We have David from Master Shite coming to talk to us about the wine that's going out in the wine club this week. Tune in. We'll see you guys. Bye.